All of water is going to come over the beach. It's going to wipe out the glass house. It's going to level the beach, and you're going to have to rebuild it again because that's just the way it is. And if you see the world as you want your beach house, made out of glass, then that's fine. It's just a different frequency. I wouldn't store. For the first time in the history of the human race, we develop a technology to maintain a shared ledger without a trusted counterparty. So for thousands and thousands of years, if you wanted to actually keep track of transactions, you had to have a bank or a merchant that kept the books. And the whole idea of Satoshi's was, what if we didn't have to trust a bank or trust a bookkeeper? What if we actually all shared the books and we did it in a decentralized fashion? That's profound, because if you think about what's perfect money, the theoretical perfect money would be a shared immutable ledger telepathically planted into everybody's head so that all 8 billion people on the planet had the same exact understanding of who owed what to whom. And if you wanted to go one step further, right, the Nakamoto consensus is we're going to give everybody on the planet that shared ledger. We're going to make it incorruptible, and then we're going to cap the supply of the asset to 21 million. Profound idea that was offered in the white paper. In essence, it was a perfect money on a shared immutable ledger, and no one had been able to figure out how to do that until Satoshi Nakamoto offered up Nakamoto consensus. Well, the idea is always, how do I take a block of money, like $1 million, and move it from one part of the earth to the other part of the earth instantly for free and store it on a computer? That's the idea. People tried to create that 40, 50 times, and all the experiments failed before Bitcoin. So Bitcoin wasn't the first, it was just the first one to work. And then subsequent to that, people copied it 20,000 times. So there have been 20,000 other coins that were launched. I mean, you can copy and paste the code, or cut and paste it and launch your own network tomorrow. So thousands and thousands of times people created other versions, and the question is, which network is going to be dominant? And figuring out which network is going to be the dominant one is kind of like asking the question, which species of small mammal will dominate in North America? Well, you could launch 10,000 of them, and only one of them can hold that spot in the ecosystem. So it's very Darwinian. And over the course of the next 12 years, you saw other versions of cryptocurrencies launch. And the most famous example of a fight between various cryptocurrencies was the fork wars, or the block size wars, that took place around from 2015 to 2018. And the debate was, what's the right protocol? Which one is going to be most censorship resistant? Which one will be most robust, most secure? Which one meets the needs of the market? And what are the needs of the market? Does the market value hard money? Or does the market value some functional, fast, speedy medium of exchange? Lots of debate. Where we are today is Bitcoin's the winner. And Bitcoin's the winner with 20,000 competitors, and everybody that's launched a clone, or sometimes they'll take it and they'll try to add more functionality to it, or they'll add more performance to it. And all of those have failed compared to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's protocol is engineered ideally to do the job of long-term digital store of value. So I think that the best way to think of it is Bitcoin has risen through a very Darwinian open competition in the market to be the most robust, most secure, most accepted, most trusted digital asset network in the world. I would say you have to understand it as a protocol, not a product. So if you're launching the iPhone 1 gives way to the iPhone 2, to the 3, to the 4, to the 5, to the 6. It's a product. You keep upgrading it every year or every 2 years. On the other hand, base 10 math, where I have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0, more of a protocol, because you can have base 2 math, base 4 math, base 8 math, base 16 math. And so you might be of the opinion that base 16 math is better and have all sorts of arguments for why it's more efficient. Or maybe you think, the computer science people thought base 2 math was better, like binary, right? We built computers with binary, yet people don't use base 2 math. And so ask yourself the question, why is it that we stuck to the base 10 protocol? Just like the English language, right? There's a word love in the English language. Maybe you have a better word. Maybe you wish to change it, but the language tends to stick around. The width of a railroad track is based on the width of a Roman war chariot. It's 2,000 years old. Now you could make the railroad ties 3 inches wider or 3 inches shorter, and you could come along today and say, I really think we should make them 2 feet wider. And you'd have all these arguments like, the volume in the train car is greater, and we can fit 3 people in a car instead of 2 people in a car, and we're more comfortable. But ask yourself the question, why is it that we don't change everything by plus 2 feet? If it's good enough protocol, then it's not really about changing the protocol. You can change the car that runs on the road, right? And you can use the English language differently, but you're not changing the underlying protocol. Bitcoin doesn't need to be faster. It doesn't need to be more functional. For example, in New York City, the city is sitting on top of bedrock schist. You know how old that bedrock is? 400 million years. 400 million years. Do you have to change it? Like, you can build different buildings on it, right? You can put different companies in the buildings. You can change the menu in the restaurant in the building on the bedrock. The menu changes every few months. The company changes every few years. The building changes every few decades. The stone is there for hundreds of millions of years. Bitcoin is, in essence, the foundation of the cyber economy. What you need to do is know that you have a block of energy, say $1 billion worth of energy, 1/21 millionth of all the energy in cyberspace. You're building on that block of energy. Once you've built that block of energy, you can build any number of companies and applications and products. There are certain people in the crypto economy that think you have to change the layer ones and put all the functionality in the layer ones, but they're dismissing the layer 2 and the layer 3. It's kind of like if I build something in New York City, right? I've got the granite or the schist, I've got the building, I've got the company. That's one way to look at it. And they're each vibrating at different frequencies. Another way to think of it is I have mineral energy in the form of schist. I have metallic energy in the form of steel. And I have another form of energy called glass. And I build a building on top of bedrock out of steel with glass. And you need all 3. And so to say, well, we just need to build the entire thing out of schist and it's too heavy and I can't see through it. And so I need God to change physics and make rock that I can see through that weighs 1/100th as much. It's just the wrong way to look at it, because you end up building a glass house on a glass foundation with glass, beams. And it does take a rocket scientist to figure out that you end up with something very brittle and fragile. And that's not what you want. Bitcoin is the foundation. And when you engineer it, you want to engineer something that is secure and durable forever. What number one criteria is, I want to know no one's going to change it for 1,000 years. That's what do I need the functionality and speed? No. I just need to know that it won't change for 1,000 years, right? I'll leave you with one last metaphor and we'll go on to the next question, right? You either want to build a skyscraper clad in granite, framed in steel with glass windows on a foundation of schist bedrock in Manhattan, or you're going to build a glass house on the beach in the Caribbean, like the island of Barbuda. And it's going to be beautiful and sexy and fun for about 10 years. And then a hurricane's going to come along once every 10 years. And the wall of water is going to come over the beach. It's going to wipe out the glass house. It's going to level the beach. And you're going to have to rebuild it again, because that's just the way it is. And if you see the world as you want your beach house, made out of glass, then that's fine. It's just a different frequency. I wouldn't store my intergenerational wealth on the beach in Barbuda.